circle where it looks like the circulation is right now. And again, it's right here on the state line where the Natchez Trace Parkway goes from Mississippi into western Colbert County. So again, Minot, I need you in your shelter. This is tracking its way off to the north and to the east. So if you're up towards Cherokee, I need you in your shelter as well for, again, the possibility that we do get a tornado out of this. Again, just looking at the wind velocity and then also looking at the radar pattern, you know, the two things are matching up. Where we see a little weakness here in the precip pattern, where we're also seeing the tightest rotation, those are all lining up. And if we do have a tornado, this is where it's going to be. The only thing that we are not seeing, we look at the debris tracker here, which is going to show us an indication as to whether things are being lofted in the air. We're not seeing anything that's matching up with that that would suggest that something is on the ground. But it could be something very low to the ground that was spotted. And again, there is going to be that possibility for something that does develop here. Again, let me track it out for you. We're going to track this from basically southwestern Colbert County off to the north and east, and we will track this through the Florence area. Again, Cherokee, Minot, I need you in your shelter if you're not there already. Cherokee, it's going to be here within about the next 6 minutes or so. The Barton area by 10:09, Smithsonian 10:10, Cypress Heights 10:22, Florence. It'll be in around 10:26. Our warning goes until 10:30, so this could very well make it to Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Tuscumbia area before the warning runs out at 10:30, and we'll have to wait and see if it's extended beyond this. It'll all depend on how this storm continues to evolve as it works its way off to the north and to the east. So again, I need you in these areas right now to be headed to your tornado-safe place, lowest level of the building that you're in, as many walls between you and the outside as possible for, again, the possibility that we are going to get a tornado out of this. There was a report of an observed tornado on the leading edge of this storm. And again, where we are seeing that potential is right in this little notch that you see. It's now inside the state line into Colbert County here in northwest Alabama. Again, where I'm seeing the tightest rotation, and I'll circle it right here. This is right on the Natchez Trace Parkway. That's what this road is right here. Just beyond where Maud Road crosses that, you can see where Minot is relative to the circulation. Very close, so again, Minot, I need you in your shelter. And the way this is tracking, it's probably going to stay pretty close here since it's moving off to the northeast, fairly close to the Natchez Trace Parkway. Now, it's possible that the storm may turn a little bit more to the east as it continues to push into Colbert County. But again, that is where we are seeing the most significant circulation. Still not seeing anything on the debris tracker that would be indicative of anything. And as we take a look here at some other radar data, you know, if we got something, that's where it's going to be. Let me expand the view here and show you what we have going on the wider scale. Severe thunderstorm warning came out first, and then when we got the observation of a tornado that was reported, again, the tornado warning came out. So even beyond where the tornado warning is drawn in, there is a larger severe thunderstorm warning. These storms are going to be capable of producing some damaging wind gusts, perhaps 60 miles per hour or higher, and that's going to include a larger area here. So I will track all that out for you as well. So this, again, goes beyond just the tornado warning, but also the possibility that this line segment coming through may also bring some damaging wind along with it, and we will track this out a little bit farther because even if the tornado threat diminishes, the damaging wind threat will likely to remain beyond Florence and Muscle Shoals. Again, we're still expecting for you either strong wind or even the possibility of a tornado coming in towards 10:30. Leoma, Tennessee around 10:38. Rogersville in eastern Lauderdale County heading into Limestone County around 10:55 for you. And if this does make it into, again, farther into southern Middle Tennessee, Pulaski and Giles County, that will be a little bit closer to 11 o'clock. But let me pull this off and let's get back into the storm. And again, our greatest possibility of a tornado, although we're going to have to watch the tail end here as well. That's caught my eye. But again, the tornado warning due to this little indentation, this little weakness in the radar pattern. That's where air is being pulled into the storm. It's going to be right in here, east of Tishomingo. Likely it'll pass just south of you in Cherokee, but I do want you in your shelter in Cherokee and again down to Minot. Need you in your shelter in these areas, and then points downstream towards Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, and Tuscumbia for again the possibility of a tornado. Where we are seeing the rotation, again, still very, very well defined, close to the Natchez Trace Parkway. I'll zoom in here fairly tight. Again, it's right there. This is the area that I'm watching the closest. Again, this is the Natchez Trace Parkway, and this is going to continue to track its way on off to the east. There you see where this is relative to Allsboro. Minot just south of here, Cherokee just north, but I want you in your shelter in both those areas. It's going to stay pretty close here to the Natchez Trace Parkway, again, perhaps coming just off of it. Here's Minot Road. And it is tracking off to the east. Again, well-defined area rotation here. And there was an observation, tornado observed. So that is why the warning is out and why the warning is specified as it is, as a confirmed tornado. Again, what I'm not seeing, though, where that circulation is the tightest, what I'm not necessarily seeing is any sort of debris signature. So certainly some strong rotation. And if there is something, it's going to be wrapped in rain. It's going to be right here, north of Minot, get a little south of Cherokee, and continue to work its way off to the north and to the east. So that is what we are watching right now. Also going to keep an eye on the southern end of this storm. I'll take a look here in just a second, but just the look here, it's the same sort of thing. Little indentation, that's air being pulled into the storm near Pogo. Nothing real definitive in terms of anything imminent there. But we're still seeing in this area, pretty close to the Natchez Trace Parkway, where there is some stronger rotation showing up. I will say with this latest scan, it's not quite as well defined, but I still want you to take your tornado precautions. Again, I'm going to track this area out for you. And if there's something here very close to Minot, a little south of you folks in Cherokee, this is tracking towards the Barton area. Again, this was confirmed tornado. It was observed. And this is where it is tracking right now. Again, Cherokee, next few minutes, it's going to be passing probably just slightly south, but I want you in your shelter there. The Barton Elementary School showing up here around 10:12, if you know where that is. Sheffield, 10:25. Again, into the Florence area, close to 10:30. Greenbrier around 10:30. This is also likely going to track very close to the airport in the Muscle Shoals area, Northwest Alabama Regional Airport. And that is where we are seeing this right now and where we expect that it is going to be headed. Again, here's where the tightest rotation is showing up. Right in here. It is moving a little bit off the Natchez Trace Parkway, crossing Minot Road, it looks like. I think that is, looks like White Pike Road. Again, just south of Cherokee. This is going to be headed, though, northeast, getting very close to Barton. So I need you in Barton. Head to your tornado safe place for, again, the possibility that something may develop here. We're not seeing it in the debris tracker, so that's a positive sign. But again, well-defined circulation showing up here with this thunderstorm. There, we look for these. This is what you look for along these little lines of storms or line segments. You look for these notches. This is where, again, there's a lot of air being pulled into the storm, and where the air is being pulled in, it can start to wrap around, and that's where your circulation, where we tend to look for it. So we've got that. What we're seeing here visually, looking at the radar pattern, looking at the rain and precip pattern, we're seeing this matching up with the velocity, showing where there is rotation. So again, that is where the concern is, that the exact same spot. There's your tightest circulation. And again, that's where we have this little knot. So if something tornado-wise forming here, that is where it's going to be, and again, tracking very close to Barton. The other thing that we have to watch for, notice around Minot, the pattern in the rainfall kind of bowing out as well. So a couple hazards here with this thunderstorm. There's that tornado threat. And then also south of where the tornado threat is, there's the possibility for strong damaging wind as well. So that is something that we're going to have to watch also with this storm. Again, we'll just track this whole area for where we could see possible tornado and also some strong wind. You saw the latest update there. This is the updated time of arrival. Again, Barton coming through in the next 4 or 5 minutes into the Cypress Heights area around 10:24. Again, Sheffield, Florence, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals going to be close to 10:30 when this is moving on in. I'm going to pull up as well. We're going to take a look here at our Muscle Shoals Skycam. I already have it kind of pointed out to the west. We're going to likely see some lightning flashing off in the distance from time to time. There you see the sky lit up. So again, looking back towards that storm. I'm going to leave this picture up as well. And I am going to adjust the shot slightly on this camera just to make sure it's pointed exactly in the direction of the storm. Again, this is a tornado warning for you folks in Colbert County. If you are in the Barton area in particular, this is where the storm is headed next. I need you in your tornado safe place. Okay, let me put this back on the radar. Again, quite a bit of lightning. Here is the wider view. And I do want to kind of reset the view and just kind of let you know what all we have going on. We've already had one cluster of storms that came through. If you were watching our coverage earlier, I said that one would come and go. Had a tornado warning for Lauderdale County on it. That activity is now what's located here from Lawrence into Giles County in southern Middle Tennessee, again, just outside of our coverage area. And then I said there was another batch of storms back west of Tupelo that was going to be swinging on through. That is now what is coming across Colbert and into Lauderdale County. And notice there's more activity back off to the south and to the west. Now, right now, these other bands of storms back towards Tupelo, doesn't look like we have any severe weather warnings on them. There are some flood warnings as a result from heavy rain. But you can see this is just going to be a whole train of rain and storm activity that's coming on through, back through Tupelo, back into west central Mississippi. Eventually, all this is going to swing east, but here probably for the next really between now and midnight. Most of the action is going to be focused here in the shoals. Back towards Huntsville, points eastward, waiting game. I'll show you the tornado watch in just a second, but I do want to get one more update here on our storm. Again, we're still seeing this notch, this area right here, south of Cherokee, what we call a notch in the radar pattern, and it's going to be right in this vicinity if there's a tornado. That is where we are going to find it. Pull up the wind velocity. We're still seeing in that area, south of Cherokee. We'll say it's broadened out a little bit more difficult to focus in on a small area where we have a tighter area of circulation, but nonetheless, green towards, red away. There's your rotation. South of Cherokee. Still want you in your shelter in Cherokee. Still want you in your shelter over towards Barton. Again, with this latest radar update, the circulation is not quite as well defined. There you see another update. Again, not as well defined as what I showed you a moment ago. And we're still not seeing anything in the debris tracker that would indicate something on the ground. But we still have this notch right here, south of Cherokee. So again, there's broad area rotation. Part of it's some rotation, part of it's a little wind shift along this line coming on through. And again, there does remain the possibility that something could develop here. Latest update from the Weather Service, again watching the rotation south of Cherokee, north of Minot, moving towards the Red Rock and Barton areas. So that is the part of the storm that we are watching. That was about 5 minutes ago when we got that update. And the rotation was a little bit stronger back then. Now it has appeared to at least maybe just temporarily back down just a little bit. But it is approaching Barton. Let me show you where, if we're going to have a tornado, where it's most likely. Going to be tracking into Barton, right along Highway 72, again just southeast of Cherokee, but this is going to be moving into Barton. So I need you in your shelter in Barton. If you're up here towards Smithsonian, down to Red Rock, again head to your tornado safe place. This storm is going to be capable of producing a tornado. In addition, especially south of Barton, it's going to be capable of producing some damaging wind gusts as well. Let me kind of zoom out the view here. And what I'm watching is the rotation, and I'm watching this little indentation southeast of Cherokee, and now getting ready to move right over Barton. This is going to be tracking here into the Quad Cities, so Florence, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, Muscle Shoals. It's going to be coming right on through, right over the top of you based on the current track of this thunderstorm. And again, keeping an eye on our Skycam there in the Muscle Shoals area. Switching it around a little bit. Because that's going to give us some visual clues. Currently 78 in Muscle Shoals, so there's a lot of warmth, a lot of moisture in the air, a lot of humidity to feed these storms. See the lightning off in the distance. So again, I'm going to be keeping an eye on this live picture because the storm is going to be moving right over where the camera is located there in the Muscle Shoals area. Again, our tornado warning goes until 10:30 for portions of Colbert as well as Lauderdale County. And the storm is going to be tracking right towards you folks in Florence, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, and Muscle Shoals. Latest update, still showing that little indentation, but it looks like some other activity kind of developing out on the leading edge. Hopefully that means that we're going to start to disrupt the circulation in this thunderstorm, but let's take another look here. We're still seeing kind of this concentrated area. Again, right over Barton. That's what I'm watching. Right here, where you got this little bit of red right next to green in a small area. Yes, there's a broader area, but there's a little bit of tightening of the rotation right here along Highway 72, right over Barton. So again, shelter there. If you're not, Red Rock, shelter, and points downstream towards Tuscumbia, Sheffield, Florence, and Muscle Shoals. I want you in your tornado shelter. Did get a wind gust of 48 miles per hour in Cherokee as the circulation passed just a little south of that location. So in addition, again, there is some strong wind with this thunderstorm as well. In addition to the tornado threat, there is going to be some strong wind that's going to come through with it. In the area that I'm watching right over Barton, where you see this little notch here, this little drop off in the heaviness or intensity of the precip, that's where we're also tracking the tightest area rotation. Again, that is right over Barton. And again, this is coming northeast, so this is going to go right over the Florence, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, and Tuscumbia area. So I do want you in your shelter there. trailing away from where that is. You do see the line here kind of bowed out. We had a report, again, 48, almost 50 mile per hour wind gust in Cherokee, and it's possible that extending here south from where the circulation is, there may be some winds that strong or even stronger. So again, a couple of hazards that we are watching with this thunderstorm coming on through. We'll track the whole area. And again, here's the time of arrival. Sheffield, 10:26, Florence, 10:29, so close to 10:30. The St. Florine area around 10:32. Into Killen, if it continues to maintain itself by 10:39. So damaging wind, possibility for a tornado with this thunderstorm as well as it is moving on through. And again, going to be going right over the Florence, Muscle Shoals area. Not really seeing a whole lot of hail in these storms. We'll take a look here. Not much. A couple little pockets and maybe some smaller hail, so that's not a concern. Another way of looking at the rotation in the storm is to look at what we call the wind shear product. Where it is kind of in a circle, it's where we have the tornado threat. You see that right there close to Barton. Where it is kind of drawn out, extended in more of a line on this particular radar product, that's an indication of where you have strong straight line wind. So again, we got a couple hazards here. Even on the north side, there's some strong winds showing up, and that might have been what went through Cherokee and produced that gust of almost 50. Again, right here is where the rotation is tightest, where you see that little extra layer of color showing up along Highway 72 in Barton. Again, that's our tornado threat. And then extending from there, there is a strong gust of wind that could bring some wind damage as well. So again, we've got a couple hazards with this thunderstorm coming on through. Most concerned about the tornado threat, but damaging wind 50, 60 miles per hour, that can do some damage as well. Again, right here, right over Barton. Let me check the debris tracker here. Still don't see anything, but it is right here, right over Barton, right at Highway 72. It looks like Mount Mills Road. So again, right in the middle of Barton. That's your possibility of a tornado. There you saw the latest update. Has moved now a little bit, just outside of Barton, but still right there around Highway 72 in that part of Colbert County. This is the county line, so this is now getting very close to moving into Lauderdale County, going across the Tennessee River. And the area rotation now pushing a little east of Barton and northeast of there, going to bring it into southern parts of Lauderdale County. And again, as we track this, this is going to go right over, again, Florence, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, Muscle Shoals area. Getting close to 10:30 is when all this is going to be coming on through. So I need you in your tornado safe place in these areas, from Muscle Shoals to Sheffield, Tuscumbia, into the Florence area. Lowest level of the building that you're in, as many walls between you and the outside as possible for, again, the possibility that we do get a tornado out of this. Circulation is well defined. It's most concentrated here just north of 72, east of Barton, crossing the Tennessee River into far southern parts of Lauderdale County. This track off to the north and east, again, will bring it here over a large part of the Quad Cities out here into the shoals. So I need you in your tornado safe place in these areas. Let me take a look at our camera again. It's going to be a live picture. We're just going to leave this up here. Looking off to the south and to the west, you're going to see the lightning occasionally lighting things up here So this is definitely a potent storm. A lot of lightning, almost continuous. What we're going to have to watch as this gets a little closer is kind of off in the distance in between some of those lightning strikes. If we can see anything that's a concern. Not really seeing anything that immediately is jumping out at me. Again, this is the most significant storm that we've got coming through right now. Been trying to look at our live radar to Muscle Shoals. I think we may have some connectivity issues with it. Kind of losing that indentation. It's still here, right along the Tennessee River. It's not as well defined as it was, but the rotation is still pretty well defined here. Again, right over the river, northeast of Barton, and now heading into the Florence area. Again, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, towards Muscle Shoals as well. This may actually track, just based on the way the river flows here in between Colbert and Lauderdale County. The area rotation may actually track pretty close and kind of follow the path of the river, again, into this area of the shoals. So again, I need you in your shelter in Florence, Sheffield, Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia. Still not seeing anything on the debris tracker that would indicate something on the ground. Let's see. Let me pull up our camera again. We are getting a report on something being seen on the camera at UNA. You saw a pretty big lightning strike there. So we're going to have to continue to watch here off in the distance. It's difficult to see these things at night. But we're going to leave this shot up here for just a second. I'm going to see if I'm noticing anything off in the distance. Again, report of something seen, a tornado, perhaps. Okay, there you saw there. We could see the base of the storm very well. Didn't see anything there that really caught my eye. But again, I'm going to leave this live picture up and see if in between those lightning strikes, when we can get a good view, maybe a little lowering in this part of the storm. All right, we're going to keep an eye on that. Let me get back to the radar, get you another update here. Again, this is moving into the Florence, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals area. Again, at the very least, some very strong wind is going to be coming on through. We're still seeing, again, right here in the vicinity of the river, just a little north now. That's where the most significant rotation, excuse me, is. And again, this is headed northeast, and it's going to be coming in right over Florence, so I need you in your shelter in Florence. Again, here's the latest scan update. If there's something that's going to be developing, it's going to be right here close to the river. Looks like just south of County Road 2, headed out of Florence. So basically between County Road 2 and the Tennessee River is where this rotation is going. Again, it's going to take it right over Florence, Sheffield, perhaps part of Tuscumbia, perhaps part of Muscle Shoals as well. UNA around 1031, North Florence 1032, the Greenbrier area here in Lauderdale County 1034, Wilson Lake Shores around 10:38. Again, looks like this is likely going to pass right over the city of Florence, but could impact areas as far south as Sheffield, Tuscumbia, and Muscle Shoals, even with some strong wind. We'll be checking the weather observations there out of the airport in Muscle Shoals to see what sort of wind passes on through. But again, tornado threat coming again across the city of Florence, so I need you in your tornado safe place if you have not already headed in that direction. Again, lowest level of the building that you're in, I want you to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Small interior closet, an interior bathroom, interior hallway. Those are going to afford you the best protection in the event we do have a tornado that does touch down out of this storm. Let's see here. Indications are that we are getting some reports of some power flashes being seen. That can be an indication of something on the ground. Tornado-wise, it can also be an indication of some strong straight-line wind. That can do that as well. But we did get a report here east of Barton when the storm had gone just beyond Barton. Reports, this is from a storm chaser. Pieces of tree debris and small pieces of wood were hitting his vehicle in that area. There again, you see the area rotation. Still not seeing a debris signature. There you are seeing another notch here in this storm. Again, this is going right along the river. So right here, again, is where we are watching for possible tornadoes. So again, right along the river, heading into Florence. Again, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, need you in your shelter. They are likely going to extend this tornado warning, and they just did. Now it extends into Limestone County, parts of Lawrence, as well as Colbert County. So the tornado warning has been extended. This is now a confirmed tornado over Sheffield, moving east at 40. Confirmed tornado, confirmed by some members of the media. So this is a confirmed tornado coming across the shoals. And where we're seeing it on radar, right here. There you saw the latest update. Right here. Again, moving right over Florence. So again, confirmed tornado, confirmed by seeing some power flashes, also some reports of some flying debris. Again, going right over Florence, down towards Sheffield, Tuscumbia, and the Muscle Shoals area. Again, the tornado warning has now been extended out in time, even beyond here. Let me take another look at our camera. See what we see in between the lightning flashes. Again, this is in Muscle Shoals. The storm is likely going to pass just a little north of Muscle Shoals, again up towards Florence. So I need you in your shelter in Florence. And then let me show you where the new warning includes. Again, this has been confirmed. So the warning has been extended downstream. Moving over Florence right now, need you to stay in your shelter. Tornado warning now extended into western Limestone County. Again, coming through Muscle Shoals, Killen. It'll be there around 10:38. Lexington, 10:47. Rogersville, 10:58. Into Lester around 11:03. I need you to be headed to your tornado shelter in all of these locations. Circulation is going to be going probably right close to Highway 72, headed out of Florence. And where we're likely seeing this, where you have this little weakness in the radar pattern, again, confirmed, this has been sighted on some cameras. We are continuing to keep an eye on ours as well. The rotation still showing up here. Again, moving into Florence. It's right here along County Road 2. This is going to move right over downtown Florence, it appears. UNA as well. I need you in your shelter in all these places. If there is something that is touching down on the ground, we are likely going to start getting reports, just because this is a center of population out here in the northwest corner of the state. Okay, multiple reports confirming the tornado. Power flashes coming into Florence. Again, the circulation is right on the southwest side of town, near Sheffield, west side of Florence. Again, coming across right the center of town, the downtown area, UNA. Need you in your shelter in all these places, Sheffield as well. May pass just a little bit north of you folks, down a little closer to the Escambia Muscle Shoals, but very, very close, so I want you in your shelter there as well. But right now, where we're seeing the most significant circulation, it is coming right through the city of Florence, right along the Tennessee River. And this is going to continue to track off to the north and to the east. This may not necessarily be something too strong, but even a weak tornado can do significant damage. So I need you to take this very seriously. Again, right over Florence is where the rotation is. Moving right into the downtown area. Again, we'll track this out. It's going to go right along 72. Once it gets out of Florence, so that means if you're in St. Florine, if you're in Killen, Center Star, right along 72 there towards Elgin, to even Rogersville, Anderson, need you to be headed to your tornado safe place. Again, confirmed tornado, power flashes have been observed with this storm moving on through. And that is often a telltale sign that you do have something on the ground. Still seeing multiple power flashes from the UNA camera site. So again, it does appear there is something on the ground here moving through the city of Florence. I need you in your shelter. If you are in Florence and any of these other communities, basically along Highway 72, headed out of Florence, again, Killen, Center Star, Elgin, even as far down the road as Rogersville, I want you to be headed to your tornado safe place. Again, power flashes being observed. And that is often a telltale sign that there is something on the ground. Not still seeing anything that's concentrated in a small area on the debris tracker, but we're definitely seeing tight rotation showing up. There's the latest scan update. Again, this is right over downtown Florence, right here. It's where the circulation is tightest, right over the downtown area. Again, headed out 72. It's going to be going across the Cox Creek Parkway on the east side of town. That is next up on where we are seeing the strongest rotation with this thunderstorm. And again, it appears we may have a tornado on the ground just based on the fact that we're getting power flashes, that those are being observed in this storm. Show you the view here with our camera in Muscle Shoals. But again, I need you in your shelter if you are in this part of Lauderdale County. You're probably going to be okay if you are in Colbert County based on the track of the storm and where it is currently located. This is our Muscle Shoals camera. We are seeing rain that has started here. I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit as well. just to see what we can see. Just a lot of lightning. Not really able to see anything on our camera here in Muscle Shoals. Latest radar view. Again, this is tracking across Lauderdale County. I think you folks in Colbert County, you're going to be okay now, at least from the tornado part of the storm. But if you are here in Lauderdale County, in these areas downstream from Florence, Killen, close to Ford City, but again, the circulation is probably going to stay on the Lauderdale County side of the Tennessee River, the way it's tracking right now. But Killen, again, to Elgin, to Rogersville, Lexington, towards Leicester, there in northwestern Limestone County, need you to be headed to your tornado safe place. Again, this confirmed tornado, power flashes being observed with this storm, and that is an indication of something on the ground. Let me take a look at the wind velocity with the newest information coming on in. Looks like it's broadened out a little bit, but still rotation here. Greens towards the radar, reds away. Get this sense of rotation showing up right over the city of Florence. Now on the east side of town, Cox Creek Parkway, and we'll begin to pull away from Florence. Again, this is staying just north of you folks in Muscle Shoals. If you are back towards Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia area, again, the tornado part of this storm has kind of passed you by to the north and to the northeast. Still need you to stay in your shelter for a little bit longer if you are in Florence. And again, areas going down Highway 72 in particular here in Lauderdale County. I need all you folks from Killen to Center Star to Elgin to be headed to your tornado safe place. Again, confirmed tornado here with power flashes being seen. Report of a funnel cloud, confirmed. Spotter reports funnel on the ground. 60-mile-per-hour winds along Alabama 133, about 2 to 3 miles north of Highway 72. So some strong wind, and again, spotter reporting a funnel that they see on the ground with this storm in the Florence area. And again, we have been hearing about power flashes being seen by cameras here. I'm just adjusting our camera. Still not, lots of rain, seeing lots of rain in Muscle Shoals. Circulation, again, right along 72, now beginning to pull away from the city of Florence, but I still want you in your shelter just a little bit longer until the storm has moved a little bit farther along. Quick look at the debris tracker. Again, nothing that jumps out here as far as any significant debris being lofted, but we're still seeing the circulation. Most concentrated close to Highway 72. Going out the east end of Florence now, out towards Killen. Killen, I need you in your shelter. You need to remain there if you're in St. Florine. Again, Center Star to Elgin. Need you headed to your tornado safe place if you're not already there. Again, this is all going to continue to track across Lauderdale County primarily at this point in time. Moving mostly to the east, the northeast. Killen, it'll be there in about 5 minutes. Center Star, about 5 minutes after that at 10:50. Elgin, 10:54. Again, Rogersville by 11 o'clock. And then heading on into northwest parts of Limestone County. Beyond then, if you're out towards the Leicester area in Limestone County, I need you to be going to your tornado safe place. That storm will be there a little bit after 11 o'clock here this evening. The good news is the circulation, at least what we're seeing rotation-wise on radar, is kind of broadened out a bit, but we still could have something on the ground at this point in time. Again, confirmed by power flashes. So we are getting some confirmation. I think we still have a couple things going on. I think we have some strong wind. That's what you see kind of bowing out here. This little notch, which we've been talking about, that we're occasionally seeing associated with this band of storms coming through, that's where the air is being pulled into the storm. Where we've got the bowing is where there's air coming out of the storm, and where the two meet, that's where your circulation is. So right now that appears to be right over Killen. There you saw the latest scan update. Killen and now a little north perhaps. There is a broad area rotation showing up here. Again, maybe a little more concentrated close to Killen and a little north of there. I have Jim Abbott in the studio with me. Jim, are you seeing any, maybe anything about power outages out that way? Okay, folks in the booth are talking to me. So not hearing about power outages yet, but very likely with power flashes that have been happening, there's a high likelihood of that along the path of this storm. Again, here's the latest track. Elgin by 10:51, Lexington 10:53, Anderson 10:59, Leicester a little bit past 11 this evening. Again, that's the northwest corner of Limestone County. The tornado warning does now extend into Limestone County. Again, the only positives I'm seeing here is that the rotation is not quite as concentrated in a small area, but we still could have something, particularly now a little north of Elgin. In the vicinity here, Highway 43, County Road 73. This is where the rotation is showing up most distinct, but overall it has kind of broadened out as it's continued now a track away from Florence. If you are in Florence and you sought shelter, most dangerous part of the storm now has left Florence, but now impacting areas from Killen to Center Star, north towards Lexington, Anderson, I would say even down to Elgin, still want you in your shelter. We got the possibility for a tornado, but there's also the possibility for some winds of 60 miles per hour, as there was a report of that as well in association with this thunderstorm coming on through. 62 mile per hour wind gust reported now at the airport in Muscle Shoals. So that is a concern away from even where the rotation is showing up that we are tracking in this thunderstorm. Is also going to be the possibility for some damaging wind that could hit 60 miles per hour as well. The storm is continuing to push off to the north and to the east. A little less lightning than it had. There's still quite a few strikes, though, showing up around Florence, but the electrical activity kind of decreasing with the storm. That's a positive sign. You don't want to see the opposite. Don't want to see lightning increasing. So it does look like the lightning has decreased just a little bit, but still tracking the potential for some strong wind with this storm coming on through. And again, near and just a little north of Killen, it's where we still have some circulation showing up. Let me take you back in time here. We'll show you how this all kind of transpired. Again, the tornado warning came out just as this hit the state line. You see there quite a bit more lightning as it was around Cherokee and moving into Florence. So the lightning activity has decreased with this storm. And the storm is not looking quite as well defined on the leading edge as it did. So that can be a sign that it's starting to weaken a little bit, less lightning, not as well defined on the leading edge, not as distinct of an area rotation. And we are hoping that that trend is going to continue as this storm continues to move on through. But again, the area that we're watching still, we've got some bad data showing up here in the low levels of the storm, but where we're still getting indications of rotation, I think is going to be here just a little north of Killen, north of Holloway, again along highway, looks like Highway 64, Alabama Highway 64 as it crosses US 43 there, just north of Killen. Still don't see anything distinct on the debris tracker. And even that notch that we were tracking in the radar pattern, kind of losing its structure a little bit. There's still some remnants of it. Again, the lightning continues to decrease. The storm is not looking quite as well defined on the leading edge. And hopefully that means a downward trend, which is kind of what we've seen with the storms we've been tracking this evening. The first batch that came through kind of weakened as it moved farther east into the shoals. This one appears to be weakening somewhat as well as it is moving through. So hopefully at the moment, perhaps the tornado threat is coming down. There is still going to be the threat, though, for some strong damaging wind gusts, could be 50, 60 miles per hour. So north of Killen, where we still have a little bit of rotation, watching that for the tornado threat. But extending from there, you know, the rotation passed well north of Muscle Shoals, but we still had a report of some 60 mile per hour winds there at the regional airport, Northwest Alabama Regional Airport in Muscle Shoals. So tracking this whole storm with the possibility for damaging wind and maybe an embedded tornado, again towards Anderson, 1101, into, if it holds on, making it into Limestone County, making it towards Athens, although you'll be kind of at the south end of this storm if it does clip you. But that would be coming up around 1126. Definitely if you're here in northwest Limestone County, for Lester, Mount Roswell area, up towards Minor Hill there, southern middle Tennessee, that is where this storm is tracking next. Again, it appears that it's weakening a bit. There's less lightning. Leading edge of the storm is not quite as well defined. And the area rotation that we've been tracking as well is not quite as significant as it was when the warning came out. So the tornado warning, they are going to trim it. Originally, Morgan County was in the warning. There you saw the latest update. So they've kind of trimmed the warning a little bit. So Lawrence County no longer in the warning. I think Morgan County, some of that was in it. So that has been pulled out. And they've dropped Limestone County from the warning as well. So they've restructured the tornado warning. Again, the most dangerous part of the storm has left Florence. You folks in Florence, if you have some damage, please let us know. And do a quick look here at social media. If you have pictures, you have reports of damage, shoot me an email, because that helps us tell the weather story. You know, we've had reports of the power flashes. And again, if there was any sort of significant damage, because it did move right over the city of Florence, we're going to be getting reports of that soon. Again, the leading edge of the storm still got some lightning with it, but the storm has decreased a bit in intensity. The rotation, a little bit harder to pick out any one area. It's more broadened, spread out. Still some circulation, though, over a fairly large area here through Lauderdale County. Again, we're maybe a little bit better defined now. Looks like it's a little northeast of Killen, and that would be taking it into southern middle Tennessee in the next 15 to 20 minutes. I think we still have some strong wind. Leading edge of the storm does kind of bow out. Again, that's often an indication of strong wind, and reports of that. 60 mile per hour wind gusts reported in parts of Colbert County at the airport. Report from the Colbert County EMA, 2,200 people without power in the Baker Lane and Cedar Hills Estate area. Also 1,400 without power now in the city of Sheffield. So we're getting that information from the Colbert County EMA. The good news is, at the moment, this is the only thing that we're tracking in northwest Alabama. Again, I think the tornado potential has perhaps diminished. There are other storms, though, back in northeast Mississippi, so just want to give you a heads up. Looks like the storm back here towards Tupelo, near Fulton, Mississippi. There is a tornado warning on this storm. If it holds together, this could bring it into parts of Franklin County. So just an early heads up around Red Bay, perhaps. Again, they just dropped that, so they allowed that to expire. But there are some stronger storms back over here towards Fulton. The one thing that may work to your benefit here in Franklin County, notice the skinny blue line. That's the outflow from all this rain and storm activity that's been kind of moving over the same places. That kind of cuts off some of the energy that these storms can pull on in. So hopefully that means a reduced threat here, at least temporarily, for severe weather in other areas of northwest Alabama. Again, our most potent thunderstorm, still packing a punch, but not quite as intense looking as it was. But our tornado warning still continues here for Lauderdale County. It's been dropped from everywhere else, but it still continues here for eastern Lauderdale County. Areas from Rogersville, I think up towards the Green Hill area. Still want you in your tornado safe place just to be on the safe side. Lexington coming in right now. All this is working its way off to the north and to the east. Again, tornado warning continues, but the rotation has really dropped off versus what we were seeing earlier with this storm. I think there's still the likelihood that we're tracking some strong wind. Taking a look at the wind shear product, not seeing that the way it looked, so that's some good news. That's a good sign. Can actually take you back in time and track that. So here's where all this tracked, where you see these little blips of the red, the burgundy color. That was the tornado that we believe touched down just based on power flashes. You can see, kind of follow the line where that was. Again, it came into Colbert County, went south to Cherokee, right over Barton, crossed the Tennessee River from Colbert into Lauderdale County, and then moved into Florence. And now we're kind of losing that signature. We're certainly not seeing here in the later scans and the later radar data on our rotation tracker, we're not seeing that continuing to show up. So that kind of matches with what we're seeing in the data, that the circulation weakening a little bit as this pulled away from the Florence area. But again, all indications are we perhaps had something on the ground due to power flashes being noted by some sky cams, and also some folks out in the field reporting that in the Florence area as the storm came on in. Otherwise, where you see the other areas of green here, that is some strong wind, so I think we still have that showing up. Again, now Killen and points eastward, that does remain, I think, still a threat with this thunderstorm as it's moving on through. But again, as far as the rotation goes, it continues to broaden out here, not as well defined. Northeast now of Killen. Rogersville, I think you've got some wind. Tornado potential is likely more here in northern Lauderdale County, but again, that threat appears to be diminishing. But still, if you're in Anderson towards the state line, if you know folks up here into southern Middle Tennessee, into southern Lawrence County, the St. Joseph area, towards 5 Points, be in your shelter just to be on the safe side. Again, I think the tornado threat has kind of waned here. Few reports of some trees down in Tuscumbia and Muscle Shoals. That was likely due to that strong wind that came through that was measured at the airport there in Muscle Shoals. Another report, though, from a Skycam in Minor Hill, which is here. Report of seeing power flashes, I assume looking back fairly far, though. This is going to be a pretty good distance. Looking back into the storm, but from the storm coming in, looking to the southwest. And I do think this storm's still packing some wind. It's looking a little bit better organized as far as the bowing goes. Again, if there's going to be a tornado, I believe now it's northern part of Lauderdale County where that is, close to the Tennessee border. So this is going to be tracking towards 5 Points there in Lawrence County, Tennessee, just outside of our coverage area. But again, the way this is bowed out, Still the possibility for some strong damaging wind gusts that may be coming in across the rest of Lauderdale County. At this point, if there's a tornado threat, it's likely going to be on the northern extent now of what you see here coming on through. And again, still the possibility for some strong wind as this moves off to the north and to the east. We are going to track this whole thing out. This is now looking like more of a wind maker perhaps coming through 5 points around 1058. Elkton area around 1127. Ardmore around 1131. If this continues to maintain itself, it would reach you folks in Lincoln County, Tennessee around Fayetteville coming up around 1150, almost an hour from now. Again, this maybe is transitioning more to some strong damaging wind as opposed to a concentrated area rotation that would indicate a tornado threat. So we're really seeing more of that. Again, the blue and the pink color here, that's wind blowing away from the radar. So you see the leading edge of that now coming into Rogersville and Anderson. Again, that could be some very strong wind. The leading edge is some strong wind that could be 60 miles per hour. We're just not seeing the rotation concentrated over a small area like we were previously. But if there is still that potential for a tornado, it's likely approaching the state line, headed out of Lauderdale County and into Lawrence County there in southern Middle Tennessee. Again, if you're back here towards Florence, Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, the threat has ended, at least the tornado potential. But if you're still out here in eastern Lauderdale County, from Rogersville to Anderson, you still have the threat for some strong damaging wind coming on through. And again, if there's any sort of tornado potential, that's most likely going to be close to the state line, heading into southern Middle Tennessee with this particular thunderstorm. Again, looking more and more like a strong damaging wind threat. The way we have this kind of bowed out here, the way it looks, just looks like the bow and a bow and arrow. That's what it looks like. And that shape is created by strong wind coming in on the back side of the heavy rainfall, kind of pushing it out. So this is where we would have some strong wind coming across eastern Lauderdale County. Again, I think that's our biggest threat right now with this storm. If there is going to be any sort of rotation that develops and tornado potential, I believe that's most likely going to be here on the northern extent of this line, right along the Alabama-Tennessee border and starting to work its way more into Tennessee and out of Alabama. But we're still likely going to have some strong wind, and it's very possible if you're here in Limestone County, from Elkmont back to Leicester, Mount Roswell area, we may get a severe thunderstorm warning that is issued for you folks here. I kind of doubt we're going to get an extension of the tornado warning, but I think a severe thunderstorm warning certainly would be warranted with this storm. Let's see now. Update here from what the Weather Service is seeing. They're also noting the bowing of this line across northwest Alabama.